So, you're thinking about a career in electrical engineering, huh? Fantastic choice. But what does it actually take to get there? Well, you're in the right place. We're about to lay out a complete step-by-step roadmap for you, taking you all the way from the classroom to your dream job. I mean, just think about that for a second. Would you like to change the world, improve lives, and save the planet? It sounds massive, right? But honestly, that's what's on the table here. This isn't just about a job, it's about having a real, tangible impact on, well, everything. So what does an electrical engineer do? Put simply, they're the ones who make our modern world tick. Think about it. From the phone in your hand to the national grid that keeps our lights on, they're the architects behind all of it. They design and build the invisible systems that power pretty much everything we do.
And here's the great news. The demand for these skills is, well, it's booming. We're looking at a projected growth of over 11% in the workforce by 2035. What does that actually mean for you? It means incredible job security and tons of opportunities in a field that's constantly changing and evolving. It's a great time to be getting into it.
All right, let's talk about the money, shall we? Because, it matters. Right out of the gate as a graduate here in the UK, you could be looking at a starting salary somewhere between £27,000 and £58,000. That's a really solid start, for sure. But, and this is the important bit, it's just the beginning. Because that starting salary, that's really just your launch pad. Once you get some experience under your belt and achieve what's called chartered status, you open up a whole new level. We're talking senior roles where earning well over £100,000 a year isn't just a dream, it's a very real and achievable goal.
Okay, so we've talked about the why, now let's get into the what. What skills do you actually need in your toolkit to make it? Let's dive in.
Right, first up, the technical stuff, and there's no getting around this. You've got to be solid with your maths and physics. Things like calculus, algebra, and the physics of electricity, they're basically the language you'll be speaking every day. This is what lets you design circuits, use amazing simulation tools like Spice and MATLAB to test your ideas before you build them, and even get your hands dirty with a bit of programming in languages like Python or C++. It's the absolute core of everything you'll do.
But listen, it's not all about the hardcore tech. Far from it. Modern engineering is a team sport, right? You're going to be working with people, managing big, complex projects, and you'll need to explain your brilliant ideas to colleagues who might not be engineers. So things like communication, teamwork, and top-notch problem-solving are just as crucial. And honestly, having a real eye for detail and always being willing to learn new things, that's what separates the good engineers from the great ones.
So, you've got an idea of the skills you need, but how do you actually start building them? Well, it all kicks off way earlier than you might think, right back in your school years.
Let's start with your GCSEs, so from about ages 14 to 16. Your absolute priority here? Maths and science. No question. If your school lets you take physics as a separate subject, definitely go for that. And you'll want to aim for strong grades. Think 9s down to 4s to keep all your options wide open. But here's a pro tip. Don't just do the homework. Get your hands dirty. Join a STEM club, grab an Arduino or a Raspberry Pi kit, and start building simple circuits. That's when the theory really clicks, and it all starts to make sense. Okay, next up, A-levels, or your college stage. Now, maths becomes absolutely essential. It's non-negotiable. And physics is right there with it. Very, very strongly recommended. For your third subject, something like further maths, computer science, or electronics would be perfect. It'll really make your university application shine. And by the way, don't forget there are other routes too, like T-levels or B-Techs in engineering. Whatever you do, start documenting all those cool projects you're working on. Take photos, draw diagrams, save your code. This is the start of your professional portfolio. All right, fast forward a bit. You've smashed your A-levels, you've got the grades, what's next? Well, now we're talking university and beyond.
And right here, you've got a really interesting choice to make. Path number 1 is a traditional university degree. This is where you'll get a super deep, theoretical grounding in the subject. Path number 2 is a degree apprenticeship. This is awesome because you're training on the job, you're earning a salary right from the start, and your learning is incredibly practical. Honestly, there's no right or wrong answer here. Both are fantastic routes into the profession. It really just comes down to what kind of learner you are.
But no matter which path you take, the mission is pretty much the same. You've got to master those fundamentals, circuit analysis, electronics, power systems. You need to get really comfortable with the key software tools. But crucially, you have to get some real-world experience. Hunt down summer internships, join a Formula student team, do whatever you can. Oh, and here's a great tip. Sign up as a student member of a professional body like the IET. It's an amazing way to start networking and see what's really happening in the industry.
And just like that, you've done it. You've got the degree, you've got the skills, so now what? Where does all this hard work actually lead? Let's look at what your career could look like.
And this, for me, is the most exciting part. A degree in electrical engineering isn't a one-way ticket to a single job. It's more like a master key that unlocks doors to so many different industries. Seriously, you could find yourself designing the wind farms of the future or the electronics inside the next generation of electric cars. You could be working on satellites in the aerospace industry or creating the next must-have gadget. The variety is just huge.
Now, if you're thinking about your long-term career, there's a major goal you'll hear a lot about: becoming a chartered engineer, or CEng. Think of it as a gold standard. It's a globally recognized seal of approval that says you are at the top of your game. And that is the key that unlocks those really senior roles, the big project management gigs, the specialist consulting jobs, and yes, those much higher salaries we talked about right at the beginning.
So there it is, your roadmap from your first science class all the way to becoming a professional engineer. The path is laid out for you. The only question is, what are you going to build first?